Good afternoon everyone, and hopefully you are happy to see me again. In this video I'll hopefully help you with paragraph 9.2 and 9.3 and then part 1. Most of you have already seen this paragraph or how you have to make a box plot. If you don't know how to make a box plot yet, I'm going to explain that in this video. To do so, I'm going to use an example because usually examples are helpful in this case. And the example that we're going to use is I'm going to use test marks, which I basically almost always do. And I'm going to use the following ones, and I've already written them down. So we're going to use, let's see, example 7, 9, 3, 4, 6, 7, 3, 8, 6, 7, 7, 5. So these are the numbers that we're going to use. But before we're going to make a box plot, we're going to look at something that we call a 5-number summary. And a 5-number summary consists out of 5 numbers, which shouldn't be that surprising. Still, which 5 things are there in a 5-number summary? And make sure this is like a note in class, so write it down in your notebook. A 5-number summary consists out of these 5 things. The first one and the last one are somewhat easy. It's the minimum, which is usually abbreviated with MIN, which is the lowest number. Then the last one is the maximum, which is obviously the highest number. In the middle, maybe it comes as a surprise, hopefully not. It's the median, I'll abbreviate it with MED, which is just the median, which you've already seen in paragraph 9.1. Then there are 2 gaps left to fill, which will be filled with Q1, which is basically an abbreviation for the first quarter, which is the median of the first 50%. And then over here it's Q3. Q3 might seem weird since we skipped Q2. Basically, the median is sometimes also referred to as Q2, not U2. And the third quarter is basically everything in the last 50%, and then we're going to once again look at the median of that. So the median of the last 50%. Okay, so now we have to find these numbers. And to do so, we have to do something with our marks. What are we going to do with them? We're going to try and write them in an order. Which order? From the lowest mark until the highest mark. So the first one will be a 3, then a 4. Sorry, my mistake. There are 2 3s, so this one and this one. And there is a 4. There is 1 5 over here. Then there are 2 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4 times a 7. And if we have a number multiple times, we write it down multiple times as well. And then there's 1 8, and there's 1 9. Okay, so this is the order that we are going to use. To find the minimum and the maximum, that's rather easy. This is our lowest number, so the minimum is 3. The highest number is 9, so these 2 are easy. Then we have to look at the other 3. And as you hopefully know, the median is in this case we have 12 numbers, which means you have to look at the 6th and the 7th number, which in this case are a 6 and a 7, which means that we can calculate the median by adding 6 plus 7 over 2, which is 6.5. Then we're going to look at Q1, which is the median of the first 50%. And in this case, we're using these 6 numbers. Then the middle 2 numbers are 4 and 5, which means we can calculate the median as 4 plus 5 over 2, which is 5.5. Then for Q3, in this case the 2 middle numbers are both 7, which means that Q3 is just 7. So now we do have our 5 number summary, and it consists out of 3, 5.5, 6.5, 7 and 9. To make the box plot, we're going to make a number line, and usually you want to make sure that everything fits in there. So let's draw one from 0 up until 10, which is a little bit too big, and everything will fit. Let's see. Make sure it's big enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just going to add numbers in there. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next step is to make sure we show all of these numbers on our number line, but just slightly above. So the first one is at 3 over here, then 5.5, 6.5, 7, 9. And to finish our box plot, we have to draw a few more lines. We're going to connect these 3 lines, and it's a box, hence the name box plot. And then we're going to draw one line from to the right side, which basically shows you the range of our data. Sometimes you also color in over here. And this is basically how you draw a box plot. So usually you will start with a 5 number summary, find these 5 numbers, and then you're able to draw the box plot. In class, when I was explaining this, there was someone who asked me what happens if you have a odd number in your data. So for example, if we have 7 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you will use the middle number twice. So you will use these 4 numbers as your first half, and these 4 numbers as your second half. If you have any more questions for me, you can always try to reach me through Teams or by email.